There we go. And welcome to my all new horror show entertainment interview. This is actually my 15th one. Holy crap. But, anyways, today I'm here with Allan McNeill. Did I say that right?
You did, yes.
Awesome. He is the author of Planet of Dinosaurs. Say hello, Allan.
Hi, everyone. I have a copy here too.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
It's based off the 1977 cult classic Planet of Dinosaurs. We got the one from Retro Media, which is like a polished kind of look to the film, but it still cuts out some scenes. I haven't checked out this one yet, but I'm assuming it's the old VHS transfer from Cheesy Flicks. So, yeah. And I actually only wrote down 2 questions. I think we're going to probably just ask a couple questions and then just talk about Planet of the Dinosaurs because it's like an awesome movie to both of us.
Awesome.
So, did you want to start with talking about the movie, or did you want to start with the questions? That's entirely up to you.
Let's talk about the movie for a while.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 1977 or 78 or 80, depends on when it was released.
Some people say 77 and some people say 78. It depends where you look on Google. When you do a search for Planet Dinosaurs on Google, some sites have it as 77 and some have it as 78, but it was released in November of 78 as far as I'm led to believe.
If I can remember correctly, it was November 14th?
Yeah, it was around there, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember because it's around my brother's birthday this time, so that's why that's how I remember. But anyways, so you had sent me a rough draft of this book, and I had read most of it. Things got a little hectic, so I had to stop for a bit, and then I bought the copy. I plan to read it soon. But from what I've read, it's really, really engaging, and by the time you get to the planet, I won't spoil anything before or after, but it's like reading the movie while watching it. It's so much like the movie, but it's its own thing too. So
yeah.
Did you want to talk about the things that happen in the book, or did you want to leave that as a surprise? Not like spoilers, but just like plot structure.
Well, we'll talk about the beginning.
Okay.
As you know, Planet Dinosaurs, it starts just as they're approaching the planet. And ever since I was a small boy, I always wondered what their lives were like back on Earth. So I kind of made up like little backstories for them, gave them character, so you would like feel for them when they were on the planet. I mean, these people are stranded. You want to care for them. You want to like oh no, what's going to happen to them?
Yeah, I think if they had the budgets, they would have done that. But it was a very low budget film.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know that you were in talk with Fred Olen Ray and Ralph Lucas, and did they ever mention anything about budget, or did they want to keep that just
just from what I've read online, it was a very low budget. Most of the budget was actually spent on the special effects.
Oh, I believe it.
And yeah, and from what I'm led to believe is that one or possibly two of the actors didn't see a dime.
Yeah, I think
they didn't get their check.
Yeah, I think I know one of them was Darren, and then the other one I can't remember off the top of my head. But like it's been my life's goal to find out more about this movie, because ever since I was three or four is when I first saw it, and when I first got onto the internet and stuff, like it was hard to find things. You know, you couldn't go on YouTube. So, what was your experience like when you first tried to discover things about this movie?
It was really hard. Living in the UK, the internet over here, it was atrocious. And it's only recently, the last 10 years, that I've been able to research the ins and outs of the movie.
Yeah, I like when I read your book, it was even hard to hear some of the words, the lines of dialogue they were saying, and I never knew that when Harvey says, "Captain, what are we gonna do?" I never knew that Lee says, "Survive, Mister Bill." I thought he said, "Be quiet, Mister Bill." Um, but YouTube was a big help, and actually, that's how I found out about you writing the book. I was looking at the comment section of a Planet of Dinosaurs video. I think it was the full movie or something, and I saw that you said you were writing the book, and I was like, oh, I better look into this, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a real pleasure to find stuff about this book find stuff about this book that would pique a new generation of audience members. Is that what you're trying to do with your book too? Is trying to give it like a more modern take, or is it more of a layback, like the original kind of source material that you're using?
I mean, what I intended when I started on this book was to give it a beginning
Mm-hmm.
and also give it an ending. Uh, because you probably noticed as well, being a Planet Dinosaurs fan, that the movie, it kind of ends on a bum note. Yeah.
It's just like, oh well, I guess that's
Yeah,
that.
that's that. They're there forever. And
Yeah.
I didn't want that for them.
Okay. I got about I'd say about 130 pages in, so maybe a little bit more. But we'll try to keep spoilers within the movie and not too much in the book because I want people to be surprised too. But it's
Yeah.
fine. What you've said to the what you've said about the ending and the beginning is totally fine. It's totally up to you if you want to spoil it or not. So, um, trying to think. Oh wait, let me look at my questions. That might help. Uh, oh, how long has it been your idea to write a novelization to this cult classic?
The, Believe it or not, the idea came to me probably back in February. I don't know what gave me the idea, but I was in the middle of writing the novel that I was working on called Night Terrors. And I don't know why, but I started thinking about Planet of Dinosaurs. Uh,
As you do.
and and I took a long reach and I went onto the internet just to mess around, just to find out who the current copyright holder was for the movie and the ins and outs of how to go about like getting in contact with these people to see about novelizing the movie. And I eventually the trail led to Fred Olin Ray because he runs retro media retro media DVD, and he released the DVDs for the movie. So he got the copyright from Ralph Lucas, who's a close friend to him. And I got talking to him. I didn't say to him the first time that I spoke to him, "Hey, I want to novelize the book." I kind of spoke to him over a span of maybe a couple of weeks before breaking it to him that I was planning on doing this. And I wish I had asked him the first time because it says, you know what, the movie's in the public domain, but we don't care about the copyright anymore for some reason. Ralph's never filed for it. I've never filed for it. Um, feel free to do whatever you want. You can use the locations, characters, dialogue, anything you want to use, just use it. So I did, and it was an honor to be able to do it.
Yeah, writing something like that for it's more like it's like a passion project, you know, like you've loved it for how long did you say when did you see it first?
The movie was out in '77. I was 8 or 9 when I first saw the movie, so mid to late '80s. The first time I saw the movie, and I was hooked from the first viewing.
I was yeah, when I saw it, I was about 3 years old or four. Like I and what got me right from the beginning was that intro music. It sounds like someone's ringing the doorbell but with a stinger added to it.
Yeah,
um,
a lot of people don't like the music, but I love it.
I know
It's it's real, like it's like synth, like real. I mean, I wouldn't say it was more like '80s synth
mm,
than '70s. It's just weird. The soundtrack goes really well with the movie as well.
I think people don't like it because of some of the pacing issues it has, but like, come on, a lot of '70s movies had pacing issues.
Yeah.
um, but also, we have some comments in the comment section here. Uh, Blaine Handsome says, "Have you guys watched The Pit, the 1981 film? That's the one about the little boy with the teddy bear, and he pushes people into a pit of monsters."
The pit. I don't know. I've seen hundreds of horror movies over the years, and the one that comes close to that is probably The Gate. I don't remember seeing The Pit.
Uh, it's
Um,
it's
I
about
might have to look out for that.
yeah, it's probably about as obscure as Planet of Dinosaurs, but it's probably got better releases on Blu-ray and stuff I've seen. James Mock's trailer here, he says sup sup. Um, Morton Rolfson says this. So this is the novelization of that 1970s flick. Cool. Just a random question: would you write spec scripts? Wait, spec scripts or request scripts, also doctor scripts, and help writers, directors with scripts? Um, that's the. I'm trying to piece that one together. Just random question: would you write spec scripts or request scripts? Also, doctor scripts and help writers and directors with scripts. It's a tongue twister. uh, I guess we can answer the last question of that when it says, "Would you help writers and directors with scripts?" Which should probably wrap up all the other questions. Uh, so, like, how about we relate it to Planet of Dinosaurs, where would you help write the script for the movie if they ever did a remake of Planet of Dinosaurs, Chris?
I
Alan,
would
sorry.
love. I would
Alan.
love to do that.
Mhm.
I would love to do anything with Planet of Dinosaurs. Um, as I said before, Fredo and Ray and Ralph Lucas, they don't own the copyright anymore. No one does. So I suppose that falls to me with having the novelization out. Uh, I would love to see it remade. I would love that. And I would love to write a script for it.
Yeah. What would you want them to maintain from the original film if they did remake it?
The mustaches.
I can't believe we made it this far without mentioning those stashes. uh,
uh,
Even the woman, God, some of the women have mustaches, like little hairs on their underneath their nose.
yeah.
Um, so the thing that I would maintain would be the attire, like the jumpsuits, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's iconic in its own way, its own cult classic way.
Yep. I think I would keep the location as well. I really loved the Vasquez National Park in it. It just worked so well. I mean,
I know.
it's so alien.
Yeah, the set they had was I never knew it was actually a place that was like open to the public. I just thought it was some place they found in the middle of nowhere, and to find out later that it was Vasquez Rocks was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Oh, well, let me go back to my question. I already asked you that one. So, who's your favorite character from the movie? And uh, would you like to see a perfect recreation of them if they did a remake?
Believe it or not, my favorite character is Harvey.
I noticed that when you were writing, when in the book, he was a little bit more sympathetic. I won't say how, but like you feel for everyone in the book, even Harvey.
Wait, I always felt sorry for Harvey. It was like he was the punching bag of the group.
And then he got punched through the
Every
chest.
every chance every chance the crew had, like throw a snidey remark at him, or you know.
In the movie, it seems justified too. Like he's being a dick to everything and everyone.
Yeah, but he's a class character.
I know he was.
Yeah,
I was surprised he wasn't in more movies. Actually, he was a really good actor out of the bunch.
yeah. Did you know he was in Crocodile Dundee 3?
I know he was in a Crocodile Dundee movie. I didn't know which one.
Yeah, number
I didn't,
3. Yeah.
I didn't
Uh,
even know there was a third Crocodile Dundee. I thought there was only two.
the museum curator
Curator.
with
Yeah.
the ponytail, that was him.
Oh my gosh, I have to watch that movie again. Um, I know a lot of people like Jim, and I found out later on that Jim was actually in The Hills of Eyes as I think it was Pluto, or was it
Uh,
Mars?
Jupiter,
Jupiter.
Jupiter.
Yeah. See, that blew my mind because it came around the same time. You think that, well, I guess since horror has changed, the people who play the killers are not as remembered as they were back then, like when that first came out.
Yeah, I think there was only a year or two between Planet of Dinosaurs. I can't remember which one came first. I've got a funny feeling it was The Hills of Ice. He did before Planet of Dinosaurs.
Yeah. And who else? We got trying to think of characters that we can talk about.
You got
Um,
Mike.
Mike, I was gonna say Mike. Is,
He was a martial artist. He was in I think was it Best of the Best too. I think he was in.
I know he was in a lot more movies than some of the other actors and actresses in that film. But I know a lot of people liked Mike, and a lot of people liked Lee, who actually I found out was dubbed by the director.
Yeah,
I thought that was really interesting. The people give him crap for his stilted dialogue. Um, it's because he's being dubbed. He can't help it in that choice. Uh, and then when I was younger, I saw I forgot what the site was called, but apparently someone had written an ode to Darina, and I was like, you would make that public? And who else? We have Nyla, Charlotte with a massively poofy hair, the
yep.
perm. Um, to be,
Chuck.
Chuck, can't forget about Chuck.
You got Chuck. I think Planet Dinosaurs was the only thing he'd done. There's nothing about him. He's just blown into obscurity since that movie.
He's just a piece of wood in the movie.
Yeah,
They walk all over him. um, I looked up Chuck on YouTube, and it says there's an author with the same name, but I don't know if it's the same guy. Um, he might be an author at this point in life.
possibly.
Yeah.
I know Louis Lawless, who played Lee. He works for a charity in Canada. Um, I don't know what the charity is called, but I mean, it must be hard going from making movies to like blown into obscurity.
Yeah. Then we have that one last character, I believe. No, we have two more characters. We have Cindy, who is a big fan service to the film for about 8 minutes.
Yeah,
um, and then the last character, if I can remember correctly, because was the younger. It's either Charlotte's kid or Nyla's kid. I can't. I never knew who. Probably Charlotte's, but played by Michael Lee, I think his name was. I only
yeah,
remember that. I only remember that because pretty much all the actors and actresses in that film were named the same as their characters, and that's how I knew all their names as actors and characters. And I recognized that Mike and Mike, because there's two Mikes in the movie. That's all. That's the only way how I remember his name. Otherwise, he's such a small character that you wouldn't really pay attention to. But they gave him credit, so that's what matters.
yeah.
And what is your favorite dinosaur in the film?
My favorite dinosaur, it has to be the T Rex.
It has to be.
It has to be the biggest and baddest. Um, I like the fact that they used the red ressort from. Well, it wasn't the same one from.
Beast from
Is it the
20,000
beast from?
Fathoms. Yeah.
Yeah, the beast from 20,000 fathoms. Um, Apparently, they approached the creator of that movie
Was it
um,
Ray
to
Harryhausen or was it somebody
yeah,
else, the director?
uh, housing. And he was over the moon that they wanted to like put their creation, well, a copy of their creation into the movie.
I would have said hell yeah because you're going to put it in color.
Yeah,
um, I don't know. I know that there was a pterodactyl sequence that was cut from the final print of the film or final making of the film because it was too costly. Uh, and then there was also deleted scenes with characters that are lost pretty much. So I've talked to Jim, who I think did the special effects for the movie and produced it,
Jim
and
O'Carroll. Yeah,
yep, and yeah, I think he did the effects, and he said there were some scenes that were cut that were never that are somewhere in his attic, and I'm like, find them.
yep. I suggested that to Fred as well. I says I want a 40th edition Blu-ray, or sorry, hold on. When was they released the 20-year edition, which was the 30-year edition. They just
Missed it.
they messed up. They So the 20th edition is actually the 30th edition.
Hmm.
I want to see a 40th edition in Blu-ray, although that might be a little too long. With deleted scenes, interviews with the cast, or the surviving cast,
Yeah,
uh, bloopers. I want to see everything.
I know it's one of those films that either you don't like it or you absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's like Marmite.
I had talked to I talked to Mike and he said we could possibly do an interview at some point, but I haven't gotten back in touch with him because Jim's really nervous about the whole interview. I don't know if he's um aware of how it works, so I think that's why he's kind of backing off from it. I talked to Darren very briefly, and she just said, "Oh, Jim will come around," and that's all she said. I don't know if she wants to be a part of it or not, but and I think that's all I got. Who I got in touch with because it's hard to find these people.
Yeah, I mean, it was relatively easy. tracking down. Well, once I knew that Friddle and Ray um, was responsible for the DVD release. Once I found that out, it was relatively easy finding them through Facebook, Twitter, things like
Yeah,
that. But actors are a whole different kettle of fish. These people they're hiding. They're hiding from us, Brian.
I know it's. Well, I mean, I think some of them hated the experience or didn't get paid or both, and that could deter some people from wanting to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to read the comments. 40 is so close to now. 40 would be in about 10 years or so. 40th anniversary. Um, that's too
Well,
long. I can't wait for that. I'll be 30. I'm in my 30s at that point. I'd be like, hey, they're doing this.
right, the movie was out in '77.
Yeah. So that'll be 2027 on the 40th. Would it be? That'll be a 50th. So the 40th is already passed.
Yeah, yeah, the 40th passed last year.
They're holding out on us.
Yeah,
um, maybe they could do a 45th, but that doesn't sound as good as 50th.
no,
How
they
about
could do a
four?
yearly release.
That would be cool. I mean, I know they had an orchestra recreate the music for the film while it was playing. I don't know where, but I wish I was there. So it shows that people still care about this film, even though it's not well known. Like, I saw this film and I loved it, and I made sure that every chance I got to talk about it, I would, and people would just look at me funny, like Planet of the Dinosaurs. Like, no, no, Planet of the Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They're like, is it like Planet of the Apes? I'm like, no, it's Planet of Dinosaurs. That's what it is.
Well,
Um,
but believe it or not, Brian, my my first encounter with Planet Dinosaurs was on VHS, and the front cover it was Planet of the Dinosaurs
yep.
on the cover art. So for a couple of years, it was well up until the DVD release, or I came across the DVD release. I'd been calling it Planet of the Dinosaurs up until that point. I was like, wait, what? It was just Planet of Dinosaurs, not Planet of the Dinosaurs.
um, I guess it makes sense because Planet of the Dinosaurs sounds like it's their planet, but Planet of Dinosaurs sounds like they're just inhabiting it. You know,
Yeah.
makes more sense that way. I love how, I mean, I love the cover, but I love how it says Planet of Dinosaurs.
It had to be corrected.
It's funny because if you read it from far away, it just says Planet Dinosaurs, but it's fine because I like how it has the based on the 1977 cult movie by Ralph Lucas. So I think the tribute to him is more important than just having the of or of the.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. When I saw this film, when I got it on VHS, I was probably it was in the late to mid to late 90s, and I found it I think at Kmart or Walmart back when they had VHS tapes. And I was going to pick between Godzilla or Planet of Dinosaurs. And I think I chose wisely. uh, I wore that tape out. It was, I think, after at least 50 viewings, it started to get stretched or strained, and this picture quality was all fuzzy. It broke my heart. And then I was 10. I found a movie called Planet of Dinosaurs on DVD, and I ordered it. Found out that was it. The rest is history.
Yeah.
uh, so where did you find your copy on DVD for the first time for Planet of Dinosaurs?
My DVD, it was in the States.
That's cool.
Yeah. Um, I, I had to borrow my mum's bank card to pay for it. And I think I still owe her the money for it. um, yeah, my VHS went missing
Oh,
maybe 5 or 6 years after obtaining it, and I was absolutely devastated. And it wasn't long after we got the internet in the UK. I think it was either eBay or Amazon. They had just started, and someone was selling Planet of Dinosaurs, the DVD. So I bought it, and I waited 6 weeks for it to arrive.
oh, that's terrible.
I knew it was going to be in my hands again, and it took so long.
Um, when I bought it, it was at Barnes and Noble, and I was like asking the employee what was the description, just so I made sure I could match it up. And he's like, 6 people they go to, or 9 people they go to a prehistoric world. I'm like, that's it. And he's like, oh. So I ordered it through them online because they weren't going to carry it in stores. And I waited about, I think, 3 weeks. That was the longest 3 weeks of my life. um, and when I got it, it's not, I actually have the sleeve for it somewhere, but that's probably the oldest movie I have in my collection that's still watchable because that disc is destroyed. But I watched it countless times. It's
Me too. I used to go to I used to go to bed and just to fall asleep to it, but I would put it
same.
on repeat, so it would play over and over and over and over again, which is the main reason that my wife hates it so much.
I remember when I was younger, like probably about at the most 7 years ago. I would watch it every night. Probably more than 7 years ago, actually, because I didn't have a door at the time. There was just nothing there. So every time I turned it on, they're like, "Oh boy, here we go again." um, oh, there was a comment that someone wrote. I wanted to read it to you. He asked if you get to write a sequel to the novel, what new dinosaurs and other prehistoric beasts would you include? Says Extreme Novel, not Extreme Central.
Um, I think I mentioned that to you a few days ago, Brian. Maybe a week or so ago, that I was thinking about doing a sequel,
Yep.
like going to the planet. But I just cannot think of a reason why they would go back.
Oh,
There was
sorry. Go ahead.
nothing there to go back to. Go on.
I had an idea probably the night you told me, but I didn't want to ask because I haven't finished it yet. So I think if it's going the direction I think it's going, they could tell people what happened on the planet, and then people go back to get the dinosaurs or get scientific samples or whatever. And then they get either stranded or they try to build a new colony or they try to do something stupid and they get really screwed. I don't know if that's how the story is going, so I'm just basing that off of what I've read.
Yeah, that's an idea. Maybe we should do that together.
Yeah, a co-written by Brian Guetta.
Yeah,
Definitely, I'd be all for it.
yeah.
I'm actually working on a book right now. I dropped the Planet of Dinosaurs angle and started something different because I only had limited time to do it. It's for school, so but that should be fun. But I would be glad to do it at any time. I drop everything for Planet of Dinosaurs.
Yeah, it would be fun writing a sequel. Writing the book itself was fun. Just playing about with the characters. I mean, it was like, what Fredo and Ray had given me was a ball of plasticine, and I could mold the characters to to my will. I could make them do whatever I wanted. They were like little Planet Dinosaur puppets.
Uh, it's it's gonna sound stupid, but it's refreshing to hear someone who loves the movie just as much as I do. Because I always see these reviews and people are like, the pacing. I actually watched one review. I don't remember who it was, but they're like, just looking at their phone while the crazy, no, while the walking scenes are happening, then the dinosaurs comes like, oh, dinosaurs. That's probably the perfect reaction to like everyone who watched this movie was like, uh, walking. Ooh, dinosaurs for about 5 minutes and back to walking. But they think that's what makes up the entire movie. But I like the characters because you can think about them and they go in deeper. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think of one of the two of the characters that like the one of the couples that. Okay, this is a good example. Um, a lot of people the line where Darren was like to Michael, like, well, maybe you'll be the last one when Michael says, what does he say? I'm just another guy, and then she's like, well,
Yeah.
maybe you'll be the last one. A lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? What are you trying to say? I interpreted it totally differently. I was like, I think because she hasn't led an angelic life, that maybe he was the final one that she would be able to settle down with.
Yeah.
Most people are like, are you going to kill everyone?
Darren was a psycho. Yeah, up until I met you, I thought I was the only person on the face of the earth that had ever seen this movie.
Or cared about it enough to think about the characters.
Yeah, or cared about it enough. And I thought I was the only one as well that picked up on the Charlotte.
I mean,
Not
Nyla, Jim,
the,
and Lee triangle.
and the love triangle.
Yeah, it's I don't know how people don't pick up on it. Like it's right there. It's out in the open.
Yes, it's obvious.
And then you look at the baby at the end or the little kid, and you're like, okay, if that's Nyla's, who did she pair up with?
No, I'm pretty sure it's
Charlotte's.
Charlotte Chucks. Yeah.
He's got the Chuck hair. No, actually, Chuck had curly hair. She's got the Michael hair actually, but he died. So.
And I'm assuming that the colony was maybe a few years after Mike. So
yeah, it could have been because
yeah,
the child was sorry, go ahead.
The child was about I don't know, maybe 2-3 years old, maybe a little older. So the timeline would fit.
Makes you think.
Chuck's his adopted dad.
That always shocked me in the movie how like his character's love interest Cindy dies almost immediately, then almost immediately as well he falls for Charlotte. It's like, didn't he just die like 2 days ago? I can't wait to get to that part in the book because I'll be like, but she was your fiance or wife or whatever. I was like, what?
I'm just wondering how many people back in the 70s, 80s rented the movie. And as soon as Cindy died, they just turned it off and goes, well, no point watching this anymore.
They all left for Sydney. I stayed for Darren, and then she died. I was like, fuck.
Whereas I just stayed for the dinosaurs.
I stayed for that too. I was like, these dinosaurs look awesome. I was of the time of Jurassic Park, so I was kind of a lot of people were spoiled, but I was like, I'll take anything. And these dinosaurs were like awesome and amazing to look at. I thought the stop animation was really good for the budget too. And it won it won an award for like best special effects under a certain budget.
Yeah.
and I was like, it won an award, but so did a ton of other movies of the time. They won Oscars and stuff. This one just won this award at one festival. They plastered it all over the VHS tapes. That's a way to get people to watch your movie. Um,
I see a lot of comments on the internet as well, talking about how bad the movie is because they're comparing it to like Star Wars, which was around the same time. And I'm like, come on, George Lucas, he was this huge film director. He had endless amounts of cash. This was a small group of independent filmmakers, and what they created was it was fantastic for what they had.
I actually I found some behind the scenes footage. I don't know if I told you about that, did I? Alan?
I Yeah,
Oh, did I tell you about that?
I think you did.
Okay, because I looked up this thing. I looked up Planet of Dinosaurs, and they had this wardrobe thing. And they had like behind the scenes footage with it. So I don't know. I found that at work, and I was like, ah! And everyone's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I found something amazing." They're like, "What?" It's from this movie called Planet of Dinosaurs. I'm like, "Okay, bye." I'm like, ugh.
Nah, no one's interested. I try. Uh, I only have to mention it in my house, and I get dirty looks.
I mean, it takes a special kind of person just to watch the movie over and over and over and not get bored or annoyed.
Yeah,
Um, there's movies like my favorite movie is Jaws, but if I had to pick my favorite B movie, it'd be Planet of Dinosaurs for sure.
yeah.
Um, the amount of effort they put into it with such a small budget and um limited resources and everything was just amazing. And the fact that people are still talking about it is awesome.
It is awesome. It's fantastic. You ever imagined what it would be like if the film was never made?
Well, a lot of people wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, they
Like,
wouldn't notice, but you know that it exists. What if it was taken away from you? How would you feel if if every copy just disappeared? You'd be like, "Where's my Planet of Dinosaurs? I want to watch my Planet of Dinosaurs."
what I'd probably just be like, okay, childhood is officially over. I'm never gonna think about it again. Moving on. it, it'd be like a ripping out of my a part
Your
of my
heart.
childhood. Yeah, my heart and my childhood, and be like, there it goes. uh, it's a big part of my life, even though it's this movie that no one cares about. It's like people who watch Star Wars or Jaws or Jurassic Park, and they're like, it makes a big part of their life, and a lot of people there's a lot of people they can talk to about it. There is pretty much no one you can talk to about what's Planet
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
I mean, up until Planet of Dinosaurs, my favorite dinosaur movie was The Land That Time Forgot
With
with Doug McClure.
that's a good one.
Yep, that's that was a fantastic movie. And then I still love it, but if I was to choose, if there was two dinosaur movies left in the world that I had to choose from, it would be Planet Dinosaurs every time.
Hmm. Yeah, you can't beat this movie. I mean, you can until you make a good point why it's not good, but even then, it's still good.
Yeah,
I think in my review, I reviewed this movie like I don't know 5 years ago for my 100th review, maybe 4 years ago, but I gave every possible point I could as to why this movie's awesome, and I ended up giving it a 5 out of 5. Um, if I were to give it a reading now, based on what it is and not my nostalgia for it, it'd probably be like a 3 out of 5, but it still has that level of my love for it. Like I'll never stop thinking about it the same way I do.
no,
Um, even no, it's just a rating. I mean, it's what you're trying to tell people what it's worth to them, not entirely to you. But even like you can't tell someone, oh, I gave Planet of Dinosaurs a 5 out of 5, and I gave Jurassic World or something a 4 out of 5, and it's like, but this one's better. Maybe to them, but
And I give Fallen Kingdom a 2 out of 5.
oh, it's not that bad.
uh,
It's come,
oh, I
like,
really didn't enjoy it at all.
no. I mean, it's like a big budget sci-fi channel movie, kind of like the first Jurassic World, except for Fallen Kingdom's dumber. um, Talking about ripping out away your childhood is Fallen Kingdom is perfect for that. uh, so, what would your opinion be if they ever made a remake? I mean, not a remake, a sequel to Planet of Dinosaurs back in the '80s. Like, what would you think? Like, not necessarily about the film, but about the idea of them making a sequel.
I've always wanted a sequel. Ever since I saw the movie, I was like, when's the sequel coming? Because they I don't know, they kind of ended it with a close, but at the same time they left it open. So it's hard to think what they would have done with a sequel. Would they have kept it on the planet? Uh, what would you have done?
Just
I mean,
have the cast return and just wipe them all out. It's like, come on, that's not a sequel. You got to have some happy ending. I mean, like you mentioned, Lamb the Time Forgot. I think people, if they made a sequel, people would want a volcano in there somewhere. Like
yeah.
they're making this new colony and the volcano erupts, and then there's a problem. But people, what people seem to think is if they ever did make a sequel, like they don't seem to realize there's only 5 people left. There's not really much of a chance to have a new world made of people unless like they were rabbits or something, you know.
It's maybe 50 years in the future where where the original survivors are dead and it's just their offspring.
That's
All
what.
all the
Yeah, that's
inbreds.
sorry. That's what I thought when I was younger. Was if they made a sequel, it should be their offspring because I don't think the cast would have ever returned it.
No,
Returned it.
returned it.
Returned it to the planet of dinosaurs. um,
They should have went with the whole Planet of the Apes kind of thing, like escape from the planet of dinosaurs, conquest for the planet of dinosaurs.
exactly. Battle
Yeah,
for the planet of dinosaurs, beneath the planet of dinosaurs. Rise of the planet of dinosaurs, war for the planet of dinosaurs. Oh. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I did make a fan trailer for this movie to support the novelization. That fan trailer took me about 2 days and about 5 to 6 hours of work. I'm happy with how it turned out, but like I made one before that and it was horrible. Oh boy. It was just really choppily edited. And then yeah, so I'll probably either show it in this video near the end or leave a link to it in the description. I don't know how the copyright's holding on that. There probably is none. It's a public domain movie.
yeah. It's a public domain movie here. Perfectly fine, Brian.
Yeah, it's just the music I'm worried about because I don't know if it was copyright free or not.
Yeah,
But
the music falls under a different category to the movie, doesn't it?
it does.
It's just the story that's in the public domain, not the
Yeah,
music.
it's layer upon layer of possible copyright claims.
Yeah.
um, well, what I could do is play the trailer and we'll do a commentary over it if you want.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, let me unplug my headphones just so people can hear it. There we go. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine.
Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, I forgot I got the share screen. No one's going to see it. So, also, if the people watching, I was reading comments. If people who are watching want to watch the fan trailer on their, oh, is there echo? Someone says there's echo. Shoot. Well, we'll play it we'll have echo for now, and then after the trailers, I'll plug back in my headphones, and there'll be no more echo. But I'll talk quieter so people can hear both of us. Let me share the screen. It's gonna look kind of weird for a second because I'm sharing the screen. Let's see. There it is. Screen share. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're on video. Let's see. And we are ready.
I love this trailer. I've watched this so many times.
My main trouble was trying to find out how to start it on the planet.
What are we gonna do? Everyone strap in. Where the hell are we?
The old Sinister Cinema logo.
Classic. Classic.
Everybody, let's get the gear together and get out of here.
It's so real. It's right there.
Wolves used to wipe out whole villages until men went out and hunted them. Wolves learn. We'll be here.
I had to add that part in where Darren is dancing. You can't not.
No.
The dance of desire. This sound effect with the won't won't is actually from the Meg trailer played backwards. I thought it sounded really cool, so I used it.
I like the sound that you put in it when Harvey turns at the end of the cliff.
Bow.
Yeah.
Apes.
Could you lead us? Could you keep us alive?
The mountain is talking.
Millions of years ago on Earth, an ape took a club and killed his first predator. But we've got to kill that thing, or that something inside of us, that dignity that makes us human. Fear's gonna kill that.
I just took the logo from the trailer and green screened it, and I thought that was a pretty cool touch. And yeah, there it is. Check out Allan J. Dick McNeill's official novelization. There we go. And I'm back.
Yay. Hey, do you think those dinosaurs still exist? You know, the models that they used for making the movie? Are they sitting on a shelf somewhere, or did they get molded?
Sorry, go ahead.
Or did they get squashed back into the original form, thrown into a box?
Just a pile of mold.
Yeah, pile of mush.
I actually have a Planet of Dinosaurs Facebook fan page, which I think you're a part of. I think I added you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a picture of one of them, one of the models. Let's see.
Because the T-Rex that they use in the movie, I would love to own that. The original one.
Oh, you mean this guy right here? Come on. Well, once it wants to load. There you go. Do you see it?
I see its head.
That's all it is. It's part of a puppet I think they had. I would love to have that.
Yeah.
And so when I read the most of the book, like half of the book of Planet of Dinosaurs, I was like, Mike is the biggest coward of the bunch. I had never picked up on that when I was watching the movie. And then when he goes back to fight the T-Rex, I think I know why. I'm not going to spoil it, but he's not a coward anymore.
Yeah. Did you not pick that up at all? That he was always the first to run away.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I always put up to it. I always put it up to him just being the fastest one. It's true. He's the first one to run and the last one to stop for anybody.
Yeah.
That
I had to get that in the book. It's something that's obvious. Well, I thought it was obvious that he was always running away from danger.
I guess I liked Mike too much to think that way. I was like, he can't be a coward. No, that's Mike. It's some of those outfits. It makes you wonder how many blisters they got while we're doing this film.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm glad there was a lot of walking scenes in that because that's where the coolest music is.
it's true. Dun 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 beauty. Sounds like a the waiting song. You know, like do 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 do. I'm trying to think of what they were all wearing. I know, like Charlotte was wearing these really weird boots that did not look like they were made for climbing, and like Darren was wearing slacks, and they were all kind of wearing these tennis shoes. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's gotta hurt. There's just so much you can pick apart with this movie, and no one seems to notice.
Yeah. I mean, there's things that I've noticed about it that you wouldn't have noticed, and vice versa. Like I picked up on Mike being the coward.
Mhm.
What was it you mentioned earlier on that
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 Darren is,
you yeah, about Derna.
yeah. Well, I mean, those are my two favorite characters in the movie, Mike and Darren. Like, I've always thought about like, what happens if Charlotte and Chuck died instead? I mean, I feel like they didn't get the proper amount of screen time compared to everyone else. You know,
Yeah.
like oh, now they're a couple. Now they're both dead.
I mean, they could have at least like branched out on the relationship a little longer, or started it earlier on in the movie.
Yeah, it kind of comes out of nowhere. She's just sitting there, and he pops down next to her. You're like, hey. um, but like another thing I noticed is that he's always, even though he's a coward, he always seems very protective of her, like with the laser and stuff
Yeah.
in the swamp, and helping her out of the water when she's struggling. I don't know. It's like he was so protective of her or something. And that could be an early hint into what he was thinking. I know that they had a deleted scene with him talking, I think. According to Jim, I believe, of them that they were talking, they cut the scene out for timing, and I was like, why?
See, I always thought that the Mike only really starts to approach her in a love interest kind of way after Harvey. Um, it's like always imagined Derna loving Harvey, but Harvey having no feelings for Derna. And then you've got Mike, who is obviously in love with Derna. So that's another love triangle.
Yeah, there's so many love triangles.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
too, but then
But it's a love triangle that Harvey has no idea that he's a part of. He's oblivious.
yeah, and Darren is for a while too. But also there's that scene that no one really brings up is when Harvey tells her to go get some water, and then Mike intervenes. He's like, "No, that's stupid. Just get it yourself." I mean, I think that's when it starts most. Like he's always protective of her. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the scene where she dies, he just bails. It's like, what? He does come back though. He tries to come back and save her, but he gets knocked down
intentionally. It's like, wait, what am I doing?
And then in the mind of that, the process of that, he's like, "Oh wait, there's no other woman on this planet." Shit, spins around. Wait, I need you. We need you. Yeah, I mean, there's also. I found it hilarious that for the longest time, when she dies, I thought that she had no hair on her clay model of herself. You know, I thought it was just a bald model with the outfit put on.
Yeah.
That's why they had it in the dark. But then I found this behind the scene footage with her little clay model with hair and shit. I was like, so why is it pitch black?
Is that the model that's standing beside the cave?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that on your Facebook.
Yeah. That was a hard one to find. I was looking through Google like a madman. I'm just trying to find anything for the movie. It's impressive what pops up on there every so often about Planet of Dinosaurs.
I mean, it is coming back very slowly, but it is coming back.
Mm.
And it's one of these movies that are quite popular when it comes out, just for the fact that it's got dinosaurs in it, and then it has the Marmite effect. People are like, "Nah, never watch that again." Then you got people like me and you that'll keep it going.
Yeah, it's kind of like some old school slasher films that don't get the recognition they deserve. There's always there's a small fan base that's growing gradually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you want, we could wrap it up here, and then I have something I want to talk about after that I didn't want to say live because it's kind of just an idea I have, so I didn't want to say it. You know.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, do you have anything else you'd like to say to the audience?
If you would like to join me on Facebook, you can find me on at Allan J.D. McNeill author on Facebook. You can like my page, find all the information on my book that you would like. Any questions you want to ask, just private message me. Other than that, the book itself is available on Amazon as well. It's a good read. It's available on paperback and Kindle, and hopefully audiobook sometime in the future.
Awesome. I have the link to the Amazon your Amazon list of books in the description below. So if anyone wants to check out Planet of Dinosaurs or books like Diary of a Broken Mind, which I also have, I haven't read yet. Definitely give a look into it. And it's actually the first link that's in the description, so you don't have to look far. And that's about it for this episode. As always, Lion Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below, and as well as Allan McNeill's Amazon book link in the description below. And check that out and purchase some stuff because he's a really good author from what I've read. And to leave comments and subscribe.